Ryan and I are here with another unboxing, and we've got a lot of boxes here. We've got this one big one here in the center. This is Dragon Eclipse from Awaken Realms. Ryan went hands-on with this back in like September, October 2023. So it's been a year and a quarter maybe since that, which is pretty good for a game of this size, quite frankly, in terms of
no time at all.
When it delivers from when it ran. And there's a lot of product here to deliver. You're seeing one box right here. We're going to open this up. We're just going to take a peek at some of the things. We'll have some footage up of some of the stuff with prettier pictures so you can appreciate it a little bit more. But this game, you know what, Ryan? I'm going to let you take the description because this is kind of like a Pokemon-esque sort of situation, right?
Yes, it has that feel. Now, I did go hands-on with it. What I had was a very self-contained like demo edition of the game. It didn't let me really like get deep into it. It just gave me enough of a taste that I wanted to play more because it does have that Pokemon feel, except you're collecting dragons, which is already right up my alley. And I even remember I got to play, I think it was just 2 scenarios. And after those scenarios, you get to make some choices, kind of like, you know, in that game where you're maybe collecting these dragons and trying to recruit them onto your team, and you get to fill them up in the little binder. So I'm just hoping that this box is just full of those dragon cards that you can recruit, because you're kind of like building a bench of Pokemon. I'm sorry that we keep referencing that, but it does feel like
dragons. Yes.
Yes, but you're building
can capture them.
Yeah.
So it's got a lot of.
You're making a stable of dragons, building a deck, going on to fight more dragons, harder dragons, other kinds of monsters. And it almost has that roguelite feel, as if like you're trying to push as far as you go. You're not going to win every battle, but every time you do, you get to keep your deck. Your deck persists throughout all of your plays, which is pretty interesting as well.
Yeah, you are going to be doing some deck construction, but the game is broken down. It's largely these fights that you lead up to, but there is sort of an adventure segment as well, where it's kind of got a lot of choose your own adventure there, where you're going to have this spread in front of you and you can go and look at these locations. You have so much time to do so. Each scenario is going to have this little sort of like gem type thing that moves down as you spend that time visiting these different locations, which ultimately will then probably lead to another
I think
fight.
it almost necessarily leads to another fight.
One thing, before we open this box, I wanted to show you, when we opened the bigger box, which is like the big box that it came shipped in, some stuff was staring us right in the face at the top, and there was some little stuff, some little extras. And as with any Awaken Realms, it included this envelope, which is effectively just a nice little thank you. It's a nice touch. I haven't seen them in a while put a preview of their next campaign.
Oh, they used to do that for,
at least this didn't have it in there, but usually there would be this little thank you plus maybe another little card that said, hey, here's our next game. But that was back in the day when they weren't maybe doing as many campaigns as they are now.
They got a lot of games coming out.
They've definitely got their act together.
But they're keeping that pace so far.
It also included this little art book, which you can see is effectively what you might expect. It's got a lot of art from the game. But then what you might not expect is this, the Egg Hunt, which is like a little graphic novel.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that was coming.
Set in the universe. And by the way, this is very well produced.
It's well produced. The artwork is really good too.
As is everything that they generally do. I'm going to leave this, by the way, spread out across the table. And then this thing right here. Now, I know that when we had the preview content, we actually had something that looked like this too. Yeah. I don't know the degree to which they're embracing that throughout, because we haven't looked inside a lot of these boxes. There should be a lot
of those packs in there.
Oh, really?
What I don't know, this just might be slipping my mind, is I know that all the cards are represented in those packs. Like, you know what cards you're going to get, but I think there might be some cool, like, foiling on some of those cards.
Yeah, they wanted to do this, not so much, this doesn't mean like, oh, you'll open them up and you might not get what you want.
Right, you're going to get it.
You're going to get what everyone gets, we believe, but they just wanted to kind of embrace that feeling of opening a booster.
Yeah, well, it's such a great feeling.
Which is cool. I honestly think it's a really nice little touch. Okay, ready for the big box?
I'm ready. Are we doing this?
We've got some other boxes too. Take the lid off. Also, cool box.
It is.
Very thin, narrow lid to a very, very deep box. I did peek at this. This is a nice little document that says start here. Yeah. And then look at there, it says unboxing instruction. It even gives you an estimate as to how long this will take
30 to 40 minute unboxing. That is quite...
By the way, this is not a 30 to 40 minute unboxing.
Well, we're not also punching... like, this gives you rules of, like, how are you sorting everything?
Which I love.
Which is
now,
good. How to
I will
sort
say
it all.
there's not a lot of diagrams there, but I like the step-by-step instructions about like, okay, open these cards. Now put those cards here so that you've got the whole thing organized the way you want it. Because if you've ever played one of their, at least their more recent games, there's a lot of stuff that you want to sort through and have organized.
Yeah, and this is what I got on the second page. It tells you right away. And this was great for me playing through this first journey because it literally holds you to teach you the rules of the game through kind of an introductory scenario that does both, like what David just described, the combat and that exploration. So definitely, if you get this, play through that first adventure, it's going to make the rest of the game so much easier to understand.
Got a rule book, of course. Very visual, nice looking rule book. I don't know, have most of the rule books, I can't remember, are they this size generally speaking?
Don't ask me that. They have so many games at this point.
I mean, there is
I don't think they're all this size. Ether
like,
Fields was.
That might intimidate some, but I do think this, would you say that this game, as their Awakened Realms games goes, is more approachable?
Well, I would say in the fact
For the
that
theme, at least.
The theme is very approachable. It is, and it's solo forward. Here's the story journal. So when you're going on the adventure, you've got an entire book filled with story entries that we won't spoil for you, but you can kind of understand how this is used.
Now you said solo forward. Do you mean fail forward?
No, I mean you're gonna ask me.
Oh, solo forward, meaning it's meant.
It's designed first for a solo game.
So play in mind.
You don't have to worry about getting a bunch of people to the table. You don't have to worry about even teaching the game. You can kind of learn the rules for yourself as you're going and playing through. And even so, it's really only meant to be up to 2 players, but the solo experience was so cool that I played it solo and I played it with David.
I could see playing it too.
Yeah, but solo was great.
But yeah, it sounds like solo players are going to have a blast with this. Here are some, I am assuming these are just extra for some reason or another, but these represent kind of those adventure modes that I was talking about where, again, you're going to set a gem here that kind of like counts down and try to visit some of these locations and see where the story takes you. And then this, like Ryan alluded to, this is a page that I don't know that this will go in anything, but it looks like it's a page where you can hold some of the cards that you collect.
The dragons that you collect.
All right.
There they are.
Now for the cool part, the miniatures. So
dang, look at these guys.
The miniatures are amazing. I'm going to take these
I don't even know where
very
to
carefully out.
These are phenomenal.
Obviously, these are all dragons. But here, I'll give you the dragons.
Yeah, they're all dragons. Some are bigger than others.
Over.
I mean, look at these giant dragons. We've come to expect, I think, a certain standard of miniature from them. Yet somehow, every time I've opened a box, I'm at a loss every time.
I'm a total sucker for their sun drop effect for sure. And these are amazing too because these have what I like to call, it's that sort of like dark cartoony look to them. Not all of them. Some of them aren't cartoony at all.
This is Godzilla, 100%.
But then you've got this guy here who's kind of adorable on one hand, but he also looks like a nasty little gremlin type character.
I fought that guy.
And what? Oh yeah, look at like
some
of these.
Here's my little starter. Here's who I started with, the little baby dragon.
That is a great miniature too. Yeah. Wrapping around that egg. But look at this one with the fishing rod.
That's really
like
cool.
when I pulled this out of the box, I thought, wow, I'm really surprised that's still intact. Like,
well, these things are. I mean, well, when you look at this owlbear thing with all these little like fine pointed tips, they make these miniatures like you'd think that they would break easily, but they're really solid.
No,
they're really solid.
I mean, we'll show more and more pictures as we talk about this overall, so you can see them up close. But like we said, as with every Awakened Realms game, these miniatures they're just killing it on the miniatures.
Can you show the world's tiniest dragon?
Oh yeah, that one is hilarious. It is, I will show this. It
fits on the fingertip.
Maybe the smallest miniature I've ever seen. It does fit on your fingertip.
And they sun dropped it too, which is kind of cool.
It's really amazing. The best way to describe the look and feel of these characters is if you're familiar with the Dark Crystal, like the old movie and the more recent Netflix series. It has that creepy, like, oh, they're puppets, but oh, they kind of give me nightmares.
Like Jim Henson style?
Yeah, a little bit. It's very creepy. There is one human-esque character. Is that...
That might be
represent you, basically?
I didn't have that miniature, but that's probably what that represents.
Yeah, so anyway, it goes without saying, the miniatures are amazing. Let's push these forward right here.
Let's get them out of the way.
And
we got a lot more to look at.
We've got a lot to get out on the table. And we won't go through all the cards because the bottom of this here, so this has some of the books.
There's the adventure books we were talking about. I don't know why those other ones were separate.
So here is the adventure journal. This is all of the entries and stuff that you might
what did I
read
have?
when
Did
you
I
go
have
to-
just like the expansion?
that right there?
No, that journal that I have. Oh, this is the Perilous Seas expansion.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this one is, I mean, this thing is, page count wise on this,
Why are we looking
don't
at?
read this, but it's 263 pages
There we
of
go.
entries. It's pretty hefty. So there is a fair amount to this, more than just the fighting. I mean, obviously you're going to be making...
Ooh, that's sick.
Yeah, that's interesting how they did this. Like they didn't do the spiral bind all the way up.
Because it becomes a board.
I know.
So they
That
did
is-
that.
Have you ever seen that?
I have not, but that's really smart
That
because
is
I don't like having the spirals.
Super smart.
So this is your battle map book, and then this
And I
is
do think they've changed the general look of. I want to say these were pure hexes in our.
Oh, I think they
prototype.
were.
I didn't think they have this nice little
little-
wobbly touch. To
I
them.
think you might be right.
That
I'll
is
have to go
cool. The
back.
spiral bind is just on the top and bottom of the book so that it doesn't interfere
But
with the
adventure
gameplay.
book is full spiral, but it doesn't matter for the adventure
No,
book.
you're
It
just
doesn't-
looking at one page.
You're just
at a
looking
time,
at this page
practically.
and this page. And what's cool too, David mentioned kind of the time that you have, but also these slots here. A lot of these slots, you can find tokens that go into those slots. And it's going to tell you like, well, if you put token A here, then so you can kind of actually make some decisions and the storyline will branch a little bit. Like you can anger a character and then it says like add token B. And then when you go back to there, the game knows that they're angry at you. So it's kind of interesting.
It's definitely going to feel like an adventure. I do want to check. Oh, yep. I don't want to point it out because there are numbers in the picture
Yeah,
as well.
some hidden
So there's some
places to
things that
go.
you can find if kind of feels like unlock a little bit in that respect.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only
sure.
other game I've played that had that where it's like they hid numbers in scenes.
Hegemonia, didn't they have some? Or no?
Oh, maybe.
I don't remember if they had some
Maybe.
hidden
I don't
ones.
remember.
Anyway,
seeing
it's a
lot of
cool idea. Whoever has it.
Okay, this is, and they've packaged this quite well so that it doesn't collapse. The binder, and they put a box in here.
Yeah.
So that, the box has stuff in it too. But this is the binder where you're going to keep a lot of things, namely, you're right.
Yeah, there's all the sleeves.
So here's a bunch
Yep.
of the binder pages, and here is a whole
Yeah,
mess
those are all the
of
packs, or a lot of the packs.
and some other things as well. This does, I have to say, kind of a cool presentation.
It is a really
for the
cool
game.
presentation.
Like, with as many games as they put out and as many games that exist today, you see something that's like, oh, that's kind of refreshing and new.
Well, and the fact
It's
that
surprising.
you keep unlocking new content, and so it has almost that LCG feel of like running out to the store with the brand new LCG pack, except you already bought it. You already paid for it. You just have to open the packs for it.
Just
It's a cool
delayed
idea.
gratification
Just right,
of
exactly.
opening it.
I love this binder too. Yeah, this will be, again, it'll have all those sleeves in it.
This does feel like the kind of game that's going to maybe be left set up under the table. I'm going to scroll this back over just so you can see down inside. But you can see there's some trays that are for organization as well as, I have to say, their trays are
qualities
solid.
all of
A
the
ton
cards.
of cards.
I'm not going to get these all out, but these are significant blocks of cards, and a lot of these are going to be the dragons that you're battling, and then the cards that go along
So
with
what
them.
are these kind of cards? Because they look pretty, there's no art on these things.
Well, no, there's.
Oh, is
there's
that
art.
just a
they're
cover?
they're just hiding. They don't want you to see it.
Okay.
Look, that's anti-spoiler work right there.
That is some definite anti-spoiler work. Okay, so that is the main
And then
box.
we have the tokens and everything in there too.
Yeah, tray for the tokens. There's another little, there's
Lots of cards.
little cards,
Yep.
all sorts of stuff. Give me a second to
Oof.
get this out of here.
This thing is huge. Here, why don't I take
I don't
it?
want to, can you set that down safely?
I got some space for it. Oh my gosh, it's so heavy just from the tray and the cards still.
Let's take a look at some of that.
All right.
We've
so
got some boxes.
Look at this.
He's bringing it all over
I'm
at
bringing it
once.
all over at once because I'm going to go from the top because the top is pretty cool, but very, very easy to open.
Deck box,
this
right?
Is yeah, but it's full of stuff.
It's full of
the
sleeves.
It's the sleeves. And, you
Yeah,
can have,
separate deck
so
boxes
you
within.
can keep both of you can have two decks kind of operating at the same time. They both go in here. You pull out the one that you want to use for that
And there is-
particular fight.
There is a PvP mode in the game. Like,
There is
I don't
a
think we had that in the
PvP
preview, but we'll get to some of these components in a second.
No, we didn't have enough content. Like they didn't say I
Yeah.
said, I just got a little demo.
They
so-
had previewed to us that there would be that.
Mm-hmm.
It is in here. We haven't looked at it yet. This right here is I just think some of the expansion content.
Yep, this is a different
foray
expansion.
into the Shadow Realm.
We saw the Perilous Sea. This is something different.
This has more book. You know, it has another one of these. Again, if you don't want anything spoiled, you know, it's got another one of these.
That looks
books.
dark.
And it has more cards, more sleeves for the journal,
Yep.
and even more miniatures.
And
of course.
I don't think if you've noticed, if you looked close enough, but each one of these spots is actually numbered. So it's almost
some of them,
Pokédex-y.
not all.
Well,
of them.
some of them do, and it tells you, so you kind of know what's supposed to go there. Oh, more miniatures.
Yeah, more miniatures. Like, look at this guy. This guy is cool to me. Like,
That is cool.
that's
quite the headdress.
just super good. Yeah, I don't know what the story is behind this expansion, but these
I don't know
creatures
either.
looking a little bit more ethereal to me or spirit-like
Yeah.
than the ones in the base
What are all
box.
these tokens over here too?
I mean, there's stuff.
Oh, there's more
They're
packs. That's what it is.
More packs, mostly more packs. So you've got another box and more cards. So it, you know, in classic fashion, it looks like there's plenty of content.
This is the Untamed Arena, which is what I believe is the PvP section of the game.
Oh, really?
Yes, this is either the team mode or it's the PvP mode.
What's the
Team fight. This is the
description there?
2v2 4-player game. So this is this is PvP, but this is 2v2. So you play 4 players with this arena. I guess that makes sense why they would call it the arena. There is a 3-player mode as well, which I assume is the arena.
I'm going to go ahead and open this up, but I'm going to segue to another thing that we have. So this is the arena.
That's huge.
So it has space on every side for all players in terms of playing your cards. Because when you play your cards, you're like playing 4 cards in a row, right?
You're playing them out to the edges, and they cost different values.
And then it uses kind of a like Civilization, New Dawn, or Ark Nova style mechanic where when you use a card in the 4th spot, it gives you an extra bonus.
Yeah.
But if you use one lower than that, the other cards will shift up so that they become slightly more powerful.
We got a pack of foil cards and then all of these hidden.
Ton of cards.
Yeah.
What's underneath this thing?
I don't have anything's underneath it.
Oh, no, it's not. Oh, it's a thin box. It's a thin
No, it's a
little
pretty
box.
thin box.
And
It's just,
speaking of the big map here that we have as a board, we also have that, I believe,
yeah, that looks like
that
the
is
arena as a playmat.
a giant playmat for the arena. And I didn't stack these in the proper order, we have these, which is a box full
Of just all the different
of
playmats.
playmats for the different sort of environments probably that you're fighting in.
That's cool.
Like as you can see here, it has 5 different playmats in here, which is nice.
That's a lot of playmats.
Not to mention, I gotta say, I like when they deliver playmats in such a way that I could put them back in a box.
Can you? Because I
mean, I can put them in here.
never get them folded back
Oh,
up or rolled back up tightly enough. Yeah, no?
I will fold them even more tightly than they are folded right now. But yes, playmats. And it should be said, they sent this to us, and it's I believe this is probably an all-in.
Yeah.
It has a lot of course, a big box of sleeves.
Is it all just sleeves in here? Is this whole box sleeves? It's heavy.
I believe so. Sleeves are heavy, man, and there's a lot of cards.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and storage too.
Yeah, generally speaking, they do the box that has all the sleeves, and that's the box where you can organize all the cards.
Yeah,
which
that's
is nice.
awesome. This is a lot of content.
We have a little bit more. We didn't do this.
Oh yeah, we have those 2 boxes too.
Here's the terrain pack, which, this is one of these kind of boxes. And it says what you'd expect. Lots of terrain for now I probably would use this terrain. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've played Stalker a few times now, and we have the terrain pack for that. It's another Awakened Realms game. The terrain is a bit much.
It's a lot to set up.
To manage. First of all, setting it up, but also it kind of complicates playing at times. If you're one of those people who want your board games practical, the terrain makes it super cool, but maybe slightly less practical. The cool factor goes up. But this one, I don't think these would get in the way too much.
They're tiny.
Just with the way, just the way the maps are set. It's not super intricate. They're just, those hex spaces.
Well, these are more like markers than they are like, because you're not worried about, like Stalker has like line of sight rules
walls
and
stuff like
and
that.
stuff. So It's not that
And
complicated.
look at these things. Those remind you of anything?
Yeah, but I can't say because of licensing issues.
Reminds me of Tainted Grail.
Oh, that's not what I was gonna say. I
Oh, no?
was gonna say the Lord of the Rings statues.
I mean, they do kind of look like that, but so do the Tainted Grail statues.
That's true, they do.
Like, I don't know if there's maybe some
Crossover?
sort of strange crossover. We don't know. Yeah, the miniatures, they really kill it. And I gotta say, if you back any of their games and you haven't ever gotten the sun drop effect, it's amazing.
Was it-
I mean, of course, if you're planning on painting, sure, don't get the sun
Like
drop
Lords
effect.
of Hellas, was that the first? I don't remember, but I remember opening Lords of Hellas and those giant Greek statues with the sun drop.
I just remember feeling like I'd never
gosh.
need to paint anything.
No, I've never painted
Not that I
any of
do
those.
paint much, but I'd never want to paint anything with the sun drop effect because it's so nice.
I agree.
Here, open this one. This one doesn't have a title other than the hashtag no mistling left behind.
That's what they're called, mistlings.
Mistlings. And this box is,
More of them.
they are some mistlings that were not voted for during the crowdfunding. But as an exclusive of the GameFound crowdfunding, that's the only way to get these. Because they didn't want to not have them. And
That's nice
that's
of
why
them.
it's called No
They're
Mistling
like, we
Left
did all
Behind.
this work to design these.
Exactly.
Oh, look at these guys.
Plus, they're awesome. Yeah, that one in particular I think is adorable.
And then, of course, all the cards that you need to play these.
So, as with any unboxing,
So much content
we haven't
here.
dug down too far. Is this going here?
Yeah.
We haven't dug down too far into the game other than what Ryan played, and I'm sure some things changed since then.
Probably.
But I
wanna
definitely
reread the
want to
rules.
get through that little tutorial thing just to get my feet wet a little bit more, and then actually get into it a little bit.
I agree.
So we'll try to get it played and maybe do some more content. You might see a few pieces of content on this. I don't know.
I'd love to challenge you to an arena battle. We'll see if we could figure out the PvP
I don't want to do
rules.
I don't want to do PvP. I want to experience the adventure and work together with whomever I play with. If it's you, great. If it's not, I'll try to enlist Alicia.
If it's you, great. If it's Alicia, even greater.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it. But that is the unboxing for Dragon Eclipse. I don't think we missed anything. And like I said,
don't think so.
we'll try to put some pictures up while our stupid faces are talking about it the entire time so you can see something actually pretty in front of you. But if you have any questions at all about it, please make them in the comments below. We'll get down there and try to answer whatever we can. Until next time, make sure everyone has fun at the table, and we'll see you then.